Let's talk about the quiet thieves of our attention. You know, those little habits we all have that are secretly, maybe not so secretly, just destroying our ability to focus. We're going to unpack the hidden cost of how we live and work in this, well, this very modern, very distracted world. Does this sound familiar to you? You're reading the same sentence over and over and over again. Or maybe you sit down to do one really important thing, and an hour later, you're just lost in this digital rabbit hole of tabs and notifications, and you've gotten absolutely nothing done. If you feel like your brain is just stuck in this permanent fog, you are not imagining it, and you are definitely not alone. And here's the real kicker. The culprit isn't some big, complicated external force. Nope, it's the small, almost invisible habits that we do every single day. The problem is literally baked right into our daily routine. So here's what we're going to do. We'll start by blowing up the myth of multitasking. Then we'll get into how we get trapped in that endless scroll. You know the one. We'll also look at what happens when we basically outsource our brain to our phones. And finally, we'll pull it all together to see what the real price we're paying is and why all of this is, well, a pretty urgent wake-up call. Okay, first up is a habit that so many of us think is a superpower: multitasking. I mean, we wear it like a badge of honor, right? But are we really doing more? Or are we just doing everything a little bit worse? So what even is multitasking? Well, as you can see here, it's the attempt to do a couple of things at once. And that word attempt, man, that's everything. Because the truth is, your brain can't actually focus on two complex things at the same time. It's just switching. It's switching back and forth really, really fast. And this slide just nails the big illusion. We feel like we're on the left, a productivity genius juggling everything perfectly. But what's happening inside our heads is the reality on the right. Total chaos. Our brain is just getting overwhelmed and stressed out. It's not multitasking, it's just task switching. And every single one of those switches cost us. It costs us time, it costs us accuracy, and it costs us a ton of mental energy. All right, let's move on to our next habit. This is the one that can just gobble up hours of our day without us even noticing it. We're talking about getting trapped in the infinite scroll and how that constant flood of short-form content is literally reshaping our ability to pay attention. You know the feeling, right? You pull out your phone to check one little thing just for a minute, and then boom, an hour is just gone, vanished. That's the power of the infinite scroll. It's not just some passive feature. It's a very carefully designed system built to feed you a non-stop stream of content that is engineered to never, ever let you go. And this is the great deception. On the surface, it feels like we're just chilling out, watching a few fun videos, no big deal. But what's really going on is a kind of brain training. We are conditioning our minds to want, to crave constant, new, shallow hits of stimulation. And what that does is it makes the hard work of real, deep focus on one thing feel, well, boring, almost physically painful. Now for our third habit. And this one is sneaky because it doesn't feel like a problem at all. In fact, it feels like a solution. I'm talking about how we've all basically outsourced our brains to our smartphones, letting them do all the remembering for us. Yeah, this thing actually has a name: digital amnesia. And just think about it for a second. When was the last time you actually memorized a new phone number or directions to a place you've never been? We just don't do it anymore, right? Because we don't have to. We trust our devices to remember that stuff for us. And so we forget. And right here, this is the trade-off. It seems amazing on the surface. I'm freeing up my mental space for more important things. But here's the thing. Your memory is a muscle. And the less you use that muscle for little everyday things, the weaker it gets. It's a classic case of use it or lose it. We're trading away our cognitive strength for convenience. Okay, so we've talked about the habits, the multitasking, the endless scrolling, the digital amnesia. But let's connect the dots now. What is the true cognitive cost? What do fragmented attention and weakened memory actually mean for you in your day-to-day life? So first, let's talk about fragmented attention. This is the direct result of all that multitasking and scrolling. It's a state where your focus isn't a spotlight anymore. It's more like a shattered mirror, just tiny, disjointed pieces pointing everywhere. It's why you feel that constant itch to check your phone, why you get distracted by the smallest thing, and why trying to just sit and read a book can feel like an impossible task. And second, we have to talk about working memory. The easiest way to think about it is like your brain's RAM, or maybe like the mental workbench where you actually do your thinking. It's where you put ideas together and solve problems. And every single time we outsource a simple memory to our phone, we're taking a tool off that workbench. And over time, the workbench itself actually starts to shrink. And that impacts our ability to think, to reason, and to learn new things. Okay, I know. This might all be sounding a little grim, but this is the most important part of this whole thing. This isn't about doom and gloom. It's about a wake-up call. Because the very first step to taking back control is just recognizing that there's a problem in the first place. And that's exactly what this is all about. This is your urgent wake-up call. It's a moment to just pause, take a step back, look at our relationship with our tech and our own habits, and ask a really simple question. Is this actually working for me? So let's just do a super quick recap of what we've covered. Number 1, multitasking is a myth. It's just you being inefficient. Number 2, that endless scrolling is literally training your brain to be distracted. Number 3, letting your phone be your brain weakens your actual brain. And the big result of all that? A fragmented attention span and a much weaker working memory. And all of this brings us to one final, really crucial question. In a world that is designed from the ground up to capture and sell our focus, your attention is the most valuable thing you own. It's the currency of your life. So the real question you have to ask yourself is, who's in control of yours?